You know who's really good with words? I heard Mitch is pretty good with words. We have Mitch and Matt, our casters for this very final match of the day.
Coaching.
Is it wrench? Is it right?
It's a wrench or a spanner can be thrown into the works.
Yeah, it depends where you're from. I say spanner, but apparently Americans have told me that wrench.
I thought it was wrench.
Yeah, wrench is the right way to do it, I think.
But it's definitely not wrench in the spanner.
Do it the American way. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. No problem, Jake.
To be fair, y'all Americans are getting outnumbered these days on this desk and cast.
True.
To international influence a little bit more, okay? Y'all need to get a little bit. I mean, I expect Jake to be cultured. I don't know about you, Matt, but perhaps.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? Right, you went to Italy and you didn't even understand.
Yeah, I have beautiful boats now. Look at me. I have a shirt with boats. I'm so cultured.
Danny, what do you think? Mr. Fashionista over there. What do you think about Matt's shirt?
That's all right.
Johnny, you love boats.
It's all right.
You spend a lot of time on them.
What do you mean it's all right, Danny?
You guys,
I use the host, and now you say my shirt's just all right. I'll turn on you.
Yeah, I would say for a match shirt, this is like an 8 out of 10. I think this is like the upper level of about match shirts.
Matt should bring back the gold shirt. Remember that gold shirt like long time ago that he was wearing?
That was peak, Matt.
He won't do it.
Peak.
He won't do it. I've asked him to do it. I've said, bro, yeah, let's run this back. You know what I mean? Like, we've got to relive the glory days here.
Well, I tell people that I still have it, but I chucked it out like ages ago.
That's fine. You know what? I will personally get you one, Matt. If you're down to wear it, I will personally use my own money and buy one for you.
You heard it here.
Mate, you don't have any left. You spent it all on Honkai Star Rail.
Well, you wonder, Mitch. Okay.
Bro, how are you buying clothes for other people? You ain't. No, homie ain't buying it. All right, listen. We need to move on. I've been told we need to move on to this match and get started here.
Do we? I thought we were getting into great conversation.
How is Danny so magnanimous? I think with this gacha addiction, that's really impressive. What a kind soul. But I think Matt he left in charge of his wardrobe decisions. Now for the Gladiators, they're in charge of quite the challenge here. We can bring it back. Let's bring the goal back a little bit later. Let's talk offline. Okay, we actually got to see yesterday a little bit more variety, I think, from the Gladiators, right? We were very impressed from their control maps, not so much on the escort type game types, but Lastro had one of the most incredible clutch moments of the entire season so far at Ilios, Matt. That really set the tone for that series and a massive win for the Glads.
And I think this is a great test for the Gladiators, right? Going up against the Atlanta Reign, who I think everybody believes is probably the best team in the Western region right now, possibly in the entire league. The Gladiators, I think, have surpassed some people's expectations so far. And I think this is a fantastic test. Typically, when you would look at like a matchup, right? I think Atlanta Reign, obviously, with the supports, Chio and Fielder, pretty big advantage over just about everybody in the league. And then also with Stalker, with how he's playing Tracer, and then Lip kind of like filling in all the different things. This is one though where the DPS matchup, like Yaki and Kevster on a good day, is like capable of being the best duo in the league. I think. I don't think that's crazy to say. Where if they come in really, hot, feeling it today, can put up a good matchup against those other DPS on the other side of the Atlanta Reign, I think we could be in for a long series.
I think that the two of them have to play up, though, against this level of opposition. There's a reason why Jake is posing the question on the desk, Matt. Can the Gladiators sort of win in the mirror match? Because there's a strong sense that at many points throughout this series, expect to see the Reign go for a Sombra Tracer-based composition. And you're telling me that someone like Yaki can handle Lip if it's like a Sombra v Sombra, then it's Kevster versus Stalker? Maybe, but that's a step up for this team. However, the Gladiators are starting, I feel, to show some of that potential after that really hard-fought win against a rabid Florida Mayhem, Matthew. It's all on the table here. First map of this series, the Antarctic Peninsula.
Yeah, and with Hawk, obviously, for the Atlanta Reign, we play some of the main tanks, right? But kind of in a similar boat, with Dante, and since that if you kind of have this Ramatra battle, like maybe it's a little bit more even than you would say, if you're going to be having to play like Winston-based kind of composition. So in terms of the tank matchup, I think you're going to be okay here for the Gladiators. I think obviously still Hawk, we hold him in really high regards in terms of tank. I'm just saying it's not going to be a huge gap, I think, between Hawk and Dante. And I think as the season goes on, like we talked about yesterday, Dante's going to get even better in the role.
Dante and Hawk, two of the most exciting Western prospects at tank in the league right now. So far, the Atlanta Reign have suffered minimal resistance, cutting a bloody path through their opponents here in the Overwatch League so far. The Gladiators now next up to the plate. They will assume the high ground early on. It looked like the Glads were going to go for a Sombra setup to start with, but they switch off of it, favoring the Mei. Lip, though, of course, going to be a repeat offender on this Sombra.
Yeah, the Mei with the Sombra is really interesting. Like, where is the big kill potential kind of coming from, right? Like, for the Gladiators, you have the Sojourn in the mix, right? You can put down consistent damage, also some one-shots at range that can kind of help a little bit, and also the Baptiste, right? With the Immortality field you see being used here, trying to keep Dante alive. Nice sleep. They are able to keep him up, but where are the kills going to come from here for the Atlanta Reign?
I mean, Fielder sets it up with a huge offensive Biotic Grenade. It's going to be Chio striking first. No surprises here. Dante going to fall to him. And without a Ramatra to work with, now the Gladiators are going to be staggered and picked off one by one. Stalker's Wall making retreat less of a easy prospect here for the Los Angeles Gladiators, already falling now down by 18%.
And maybe the answer is just Lip is so good on Sombra. Like, he's just going to be able to just get the hacks and just kill everybody in the back line as Atlanta wins that first fight pretty easily. Really nice Mei walls as well from Stalker, being able to split Dante from the rest of the squad.
I mean, yeah, already building towards that EMP. Lips at 83% after just one fight. Big difference maker here. Someone like Ramatra's not going to have the option to be in Nemesis form and benefit from that durability if he's hacked during that moment. Yaki's been able to build a Blizzard, but he's going to be taken down by Stalker. The Endothermic Blaster connects, and it's a beautiful headshot to take him down. All the ultimates Atlanta could ever ask for now in their pocket. They only expend the nano boost in that fight. They're set. They're in a very good spot in this round.
Yeah, Kevs are actually getting a pick on a Chio here towards the end, so maybe the Gladiators can make a play for the point now, but like Jake in the desk has been talking about, not a ton of teams kind of opting to play hit scan pretty often, and it's because once you get this rush going, you get right in the face. I mean, there's really nothing that Kevster can do at that moment in time. It's a nice hack there from Lip just to pester him.
I love this. Lip now able to get behind Lastron, make sure he can connect with the Baptiste, but he's not able to finish off the kill before the Immortality field comes out. Yes, he gets rid of that deployable, but in this time, Yaki's been able to take Hawk down. Nice turnaround, the Blizzard coming in clutch. Stalker going to go for one of his own now, but Annihilation is in play for Dante. He's frozen up, he's also hacked, and that's going to be Stalker able to remove him from the picture. 91% and counting. The Gladiators spend it all here in this fight, but in fairness, Atlanta also dig deep for those ultimates. 95-3.
Yeah, but I think you're okay here if you're the Atlanta Reign, though, right? I mean, the Gladiators end up having to dump everything into that. They do have the overclock, reliant on really, obviously, Kevster to hit some shots once that's popped. But if you're Atlanta, you can poke a little bit, let Fielder build up towards that nano, maybe get the nano with the Annihilation, or you may not even need to wait that long.
Kevster now trying to get onto the seed, but Lastra's going to get taken down in front of his very eyes. Huge source of healing, and the Immortality field now is off the table. Kevster trying to work from that high ground, is able to pick Fielder off, so supports Trader, but the Annihilation from below. Yeah, Kevster gets dragged into the depths, and the Atlanta Reign are back in control. The Gladiators, no prospects of a stall here. Pretty cut and dry start from the Atlanta Reign.
It's just so fast, the Atlanta Reign, in terms of their style of playing. It just feels like if you make one mistake against them, you're just done for. Does not seem like they make many at all. As we'll see if there's a comp switch up maybe here for the Gladiators. Do you play that Sojourn again? Do you want kind of Kevster on a little bit more of like a mid to long range kind of damage dealer, or do you want to play close up? See what he decides to do here. Is still some time to make some changes. Interesting Fielder actually hovering over the Baptiste, so that would be a bit of a swap here for the Reign.
Yeah, also, I mean, it's a hero that Fielder, we see him gravitate towards less. In fact, on the Dallas Fuel, it was more often Moira than Baptiste, if not Ana. But picking it up here alongside Lucio, it's very important to have the Baptiste to play along with that Ramatra, who really is going to want to be an anchor.
Yeah, it seems like the Baptiste also brought in here because they're going to have Lip now play Sojourn as well. Oh, it takes out Funny Astro, excuse me. It's, I mean, that is a really early pickoff, as it seems like he's just putting some damage down on the side. They do a nice job capitalizing, though, taking out Lip. It's just, can they make it back to the point?
Dangerous here for Dante. He's a little bit caught on his own. Going to try and go into the block inside that Nemesis form. Stalker forced into an ice block of his own. Yaki harrying the Atlanta Reign from behind. Again, not able to find any sort of kill pressure here, but causing the Atlanta Reign to have to fall back to the point. That's the ice wall used. Yaki's definitely out at sea somewhat, and so the Gladiators now need to delve deep and join him on the point. No one is captured quite yet, but Kevster needs help. Good deployment of the Immortality field at just the right time to keep him alive.
Oh, and it's going to be an Ant Matrix here from Lastro right away. It drops it, tries to put pressure, not allowing the Atlanta Reign to back around the corner, and that's going to allow the Gladiators to take point first.
Yeah, Fielder has his, though. He popped that one up, forcing Lastro and Co to play out of line of sight for the most part. Dante getting pressure, can't quite get to the Annihilation. Hawk's going to be able to bring him down. There's a Blizzard on the point, and Lip is connecting. Scary stuff for Kevster as Lip beats him black and blue, up close and personal. Lastro trying to hang around for as long as he can. You'll note that the Gladiators were able to capture the point, probably off the back of that amplification matrix from Lastro, forcing line of sight breaking. So it's very helpful for them, even if they lose this fight.
Yeah, the Reign actually come back with an Ant Matrix of their own, and then the Blizzard, and that allows them to kind of flip the point back. As we saw it looked like it was from Lastro's POV, just Dante, just so much damage. I mean, everything kind of coming on top of him there from the Atlanta Reign. There's nothing they can really do to keep him up.
Gladiators wrap around, they avoid the choke. Wall thrown up in front of Kevster's face. Here he's probing for a target, now pressuring on towards Hawk, who's holding on to that Annihilation, and he won't have a chance to use it in this fight. Lastro is the one that brings him to his knees. Sound barrier expended here for the Gladiators, but it's well worth it as they're back in control, only about 8% behind, and Kevster's on the hunt.
Not going to chase too hard, though. You would think. Okay, so Chia decides to turn around, decide to fight. It's a little bit easier than running all the way back to the spawn, as Dante will pick up 2 as they leave. I think this next fight's going to be huge. I mean, you're going to have double support ult here for the Reign. You're going to have an Ant Matrix here for the Gladiators. I think if you're the Gladiators, you can end up winning this fight. Maybe they end up investing double support ult on the other side. You're in a great spot to take this point.
Yeah, if you can beat Sound Barrier here for the Gladiators, you're set up for a last fight scenario. That's a tall order though, Matt. Let's make no mistake here. Dante was hoping to fold back a little bit under that pressure, but Amaywall got put behind him. Instead, he chooses to stand his ground, but here comes the Annihilation. Sound Barrier here making Hawk that much more durable. But there's a dearth of targets from under pressure. Yep, and Ramatras T-posing on each other on the point right now. And we see Hawk trying to get into the back line, but Lip has already found Yaki now. Huge amount of control taken off the table for the Gladiators. Dante going for that ultimate as well, but gonna be brought down here as Hawk gets the better of him. Numbers favor the Atlanta Reign on the point now. They're trying to get in Kevster's face. He's trying to salvage his situation. The stall's been good for the Gladiators. Yes, Matt, a losing fight, fine. But they get an extra 25+%.
Yeah, and is it like all terrible for the Gladiators? I think you can make an argument no there, because what? That's Annihilation, both support ult in Blizzard being used there by the Reign to flip the point. You come back, Yaki's going to have a Blizzard of his own, Kevster with an overclock, and then maybe if you win just off of those two, Funny Astro has a beat for that final fight, or probably a beat here if you need it.
Yeah, he's looking to build that up as quickly. Oh, okay, Geo gets picked off pretty early. Not a great start to the fight here. Yaki has Blizzard, but maybe encouraged to hold on to it. Yeah, that first pick is huge. The Atlanta Reign can't even really reposition with any form of speed. So the Glads are back in control in last fight territory, and now they're staggering the Reign.
Oh, and I love that decision. As soon as that Ant Matrix comes up, you need to get rid of Fielder. He ended up building up. There's so much of it off the healing once Chio dies in that fight, but the Gladiators able to take the second point here, really off the back of what we were talking about a lot. You know, that one fight where they got Atlanta to use 3 or 4 ultimates, right? Come back, they're able to get that first pick on the Chio, which means they don't have to invest as heavy. And then they have some ultimates at the end where Atlanta can't fully reset, right? With how much percentage the Gladiators had at the time. So really nice look there from the Gladiators on our second point.
Really impactful Baptiste play from Lastro. The player that is sort of gravitated over his career from flex support to main support, back to flex support now on this Gladiators team. And the Baptiste was actually one of his most potent heroes. The Gladiators are playing up to their opposition. This is what we've been wanting to see from Atlanta's opponents so far this season. Someone really take it to them, put some pressure on them, and we're going to be going back, of course, to that Sombra here for Lip.
And I was going to say, this is what worked for the Atlanta Reign on our first point. So let's see, the Gladiators have seen this look once. Let's see if they make any adjustments to kind of dealing with it here.
Early hack on Lastro, but he's able to find the regenerative burst there. Lip not able to connect, but forcing a pretty big cooldown away, especially if there's going to be a brawl fight in the next few moments. That's a long cooldown from the Baptiste. Hawk. Okay, just probing there, not fully committing to the fight. Dante and Hawk both pop out of those Nemesis forms. Shields thrown up, Hawk caught between a wall and a wall as it appears. And Fielder's going to get taken down by Lastro, sharpshooting across the map here. Hawk's hoping to at least get away with something, but the rest of the Gladiators come to Yaki's rescue, and Hawk has to abscond.
Yes, you still have Lip here behind enemy lines. Nice win there from the Gladiators at the start, really behind Lastro getting that first pick off. And Fielder actually goes from the Ana over to the Baptiste now. So coming out with the Ana, it looked like actually you set up for a prime play where, you know, Stalker gets a Mei wall, you kind of isolate Dante, you get a, you know, biotic grenade there, an anti, and you're able to just deal with the tank. So you don't have that in play anymore.
Warning shot there for Lip, forces the translocate away. It's going to be a Blizzard here from Stalker, and it's going to pay off perfectly.
Yeah, Lastro actually got frozen for a brief second there while he was like loading up his exo boots to jump up and probably throw down that immortality field. And it looks like he got frozen for like a half of a second almost.
Yeah.
From our POV there. So not able to get above and drop that immortality field, which could have potentially kept Dante and Yaki alive.
You saw it came later in the fight, right? And it was just removed instantly when it was a 5 versus 3. Good spot there. Good Blizzard from Stalker. Timing such that the Gladiators didn't really have the room to respond. Yaki at least is going to have one of his own coming into this next fight, and there's a sound barrier for Funny Astro, but in terms of ultimate economy, one would expect Atlanta Reign to start to catch up here in terms of percentage. Hack on Yaki. Okay, actually completed. There's an EMP for Lip to follow it up. He is lingering, he's hanging around, but forced away. Doesn't fancy use the ultimate in that situation. It's going to be the Gladiators forced to go for the beat first here. Hawk playing the point, trying to be conservative about it. Okay, gonna go for the Annihilation here. A little bit low, but the sound barrier came at just the right time. Hawk now, Hardy and Hale, and the Reign are about to catch up in that percentage. Dante, yep, come out of Nemesis first, and he drops first too.
Yeah, and you saw Hawk just looking for anything. You saw Yaki to the side, trying to make a play for him. Yaki ice walls himself in, so Hawk can't go for him. Runs around the corner. Dante's Nemesis form, you know, Annihilation looked like he'd run out, and then Hawk able to just do some damage, take him out, and then that gives the point, you know, still to the Atlanta Reign is kind of look across the board. Maybe we got a Blizzard coming up here, but really it's Lastro with his Amp Matrix. Can the Gladiators get like high ground or get some type of position to get use of it once he gets it?
I don't think the Reign really want to allow them to have this. What's the mechanism via which the Gladiators bully themselves into such an advantageous position here? Lastro able to play the point here, but spending much of his time having to heal Dante. Amp Matrix also being committed to that end. The Reign still control the point for the time being. Hawk is the anchor, refusing to give this up to the Gladiators, so they spend that Baptiste ultimate, and here's the Blizzard. Stalker's going to throw it down. Lastro's a little bit low, forced to play back somewhat. No one really caught in the Blizzard, though, and now it's Kevster firing up. Stalker deploys the ultimate and then just gets ripped to shreds as Kevster can control the high ground, essentially uncontested here. Lastro's immortality field did its job. He hangs around. The hack on Kevster, at least it's going to be a trade. Fielder takes him down from across the map here, but they're getting pressured heavily by Dante. The hack's nice. Dante's still able to back away, and the Glads are in control. Not a moment too soon.
Yeah, and Fielder ended up dropping his Amp Matrix in the choke, trying to give Atlanta Reign enough to get over the line, win map number 1. Did a decent amount of damage, but not enough in the end. EMP here available, though. See how Funny Astro plays around this. Funny Astro with that sound barrier here. It's going to come up at the perfect time.
This could be a round end of Matt. Here it is. Astro, he actually gets a sound barrier. He was able to stay away from that EMP and lay that one down. This allows the Gladiators to brawl forward. They take Hawk down, and the rest of the Reign topple.
Are you okay with that, though, if you're the Atlanta Reign? You trade your EMP there, and they end up using Annihilation sound barrier in Blizzard. You come back, you're going to have a sound barrier of your own here. Just try and have enough sustain to win it in the end.
There's no guarantee this works, though. Lastro, Amp Matrix plus healing can allow the Gladiators to actually stand on their own 2 feet against the sound barrier up Atlanta Reign. Wall thrown up, Dante in a bit of trouble here. Lastro finally deploys that immortality field, but it's not going to be quick enough. Dante gets taken down first. That's a disastrous turn of events here for the Gladiators, and the Reign just bully their way back onto the point. They're big, they're bad, they're bustling, and they're here to take this round. Kevster's going to be brought down on the point, and while it was competitive, not close enough for the Gladiators here. 1-0 favoring the Atlanta Reign.
It looked like it's an Atlanta coach. I assume that Gator said tragic at the end. But I would say that is it's obviously a map win for Atlanta, but I also would say if you're the Gladiators, like, you have to be pretty happy with how you play it. I know Jake was talking about, whether it's called trick plays or, not really kind of playing the same as your opponent in terms of like the mirror. Maybe the Gladiators not being able to kind of like go toe to toe. And at least here in our opening map, they actually did put up a really good fight in, essentially mirror matchups.
Yeah, sure. I think there's a preference for the Gladiators, or lack thereof, for the Sombra. Right, it's something we see a lot of from Lip in 2 out of 3 of those rounds. The Gladiators don't really want to go there. They stick on the Sojourn, the Mei. In fairness, right, that point of difference in compositions doesn't cause too much of a golf-in performance from these teams. The Gladiators are able to keep it close, but if you're Lastro, you do anything to have that Immortality Field opportunity back, Matt. It's a split second too late to save Dante's life. Any other way, and would have been Dante up and standing in a decent, fair fight, 5 versus 5 at the end of that round. Stick around, everybody. The Gladiators are playing up to their competition, but the Reign start with the lead. It's Blizzard World up next. Safe to say the Atlanta Reign were put to the test in the first map of this series by the Los Angeles Gladiators. They edge out a victory right at the end of the round, but I'll tell you what, a couple of things going differently, and it could have been a completely different result, Matthew. Yeah, really good signs here, I think, with the rest of the series obviously in front of us. The Gladiators could make it a pretty long one, pretty competitive one. You do see the Babel coming in here, or map number 2. Will be Blizzard World. I think the interesting thing here is I know Hawk can probably go and play some of the D.Va, which he's kind of known for, and have Dante play the D.Va as well, which
very long throwback. You think of Dante, we've seen him play the D.Va back when he was
Back
on
in
the
the Goats
shop,
days, right?
like season 1. Yeah, we saw him, I think, play some D.Va as well. Where I think Dante is just kind of like a little bit of a jack of all trades, can kind of do it all here. So I think that D.Va matchup will be interesting if we get it.
Yeah, and again, it lends itself to slightly slower play a lot of the time, right? Not the same level of like all-in commitment that Winston compositions give you. Also, we've seen a few teams sort of play the D.Va mirror match, but not every team has wanted to play Sombra alongside it. We've seen how disruptive the Sombra can be for D.Va, constantly making it hard for her to use defense matrix or to transition between high and low. To put her out of the fight for a couple of seconds can be a crucial difference maker. Yaki, definitely expecting to see that here. I do want to point out the Dante Winston here on defense.
Yes, I was going to say, the Winston for Dante to combine with Kevster and Yaki on the Tracer Sombra. What do we see from the Rain when they kind of see this on the other side, when they're kind of come out here on offense? Do we see them make some big changes off of this? Yaki in the corner, probably just to check, see what they're running, kind of communicate it to the rest of the squad. So Lip will actually go to Sombra. Stalker will play the Tracer here as well. So mirror matchup outside of the tanks.
D.Va, a quintessential hero for Hawk. Many, back when he was a flex tank player, right, alongside another tank, that was where we saw him go much of the time. To pretty decent success here. The Gladiators have been somewhat corralled back towards this point here. You see Dante just trying to get as much information he can and poke at longer range. Chio trying to avoid getting caught out here. Not a complete hack on Dante, but still he's forced to use his jump to get out. There's an opening here for the Rain.
Well, he gets hit with a biotic grenade, so he has the anti-heal and gets hacked like pretty much at the same time, where gives some point presence here for the Atlanta Rain, just kind of working their way slowly here. I think you're really trying to make Dante make a play and then try and take advantage of it, I think, if you're the Rain.
A lot of ult charge to be gained here for Field or Hawk. Goes down to about 30% of the health, but there's no ability for the Gladiators to sort of capitalize on that HP difference. Kevster with a pulse bomb, though. Definitely needs to be wary of that defense matrix. Hawk eats up the bomb, though. What a turnaround. Stalker instead, though. What a lopsided exchange. He finds a key kill on Babel. And the Gladiators are pretty much cooked here, Matt.
I mean, that is a fantastic defense matrix eat there from Hawk. We know how good of a D.Va he is, being able to eat up that Kevster pulse bomb, and then the pulse bomb from Stalker on the other end is great. Able to take out Babel, no have that on in the fight. It makes it very difficult to stay alive on the point, and that'll be the Atlanta Rain taking it with a good amount of time.
Yeah, this is huge. Getting the point with so little resistance there. You saw, obviously, a lot of probing for the Tracers. Crucially, there's EMPs online for both sides right now, and it may well come down to who fires first. Lip announcing his presence via a cheeky little hack on Lastro. Maybe trying to force some cooldowns, maybe some action. Getting a lot of it so far.
Yeah, you saw Dante there in the low ground, and as soon as the hack comes in, he has to kind of respect that and jump up, just give himself a little bit of an exit there. That's a hack on, they just burn Kevster down straight away.
That was nicely done. It wasn't just Lip there as well. I'm pretty sure Stalker had a strafing run to make sure that the Kevster kill was secured. Dante's forced to head to the hills, but Hawk can chase him on down here. He is hacked, but he's able to create a large amount of space and force out a pretty key cooldown there from Babel. Back in he goes. Perpetually hacked, it seems.
Yeah, the card making a ton of progress here, Vidge. Look at how deep they're having to go here for Fielder. I mean,
stays alive as well.
They're going to get him, but I think you're going to be on the bad side of this. It's going to be Primal popped here from Dante. Okay, I was going to, because Chio actually had the rally going, and it looked like he was going to kind of sit on the opposite side of the doorway, maybe like lock players in there with some D.Va damage as well. It could have been pretty tough to break on through, but the Gladiators do end up winning that fight. They have to go very far, though, to get the kill on a Fielder.
A split second of desynchronization between Dante and Yaki there. You see Yaki, is able to follow up Dante's dive in there, but there's enough time for Fielder to stay alive, giving Chio the chance to get there and secure a trade. It's still a fight that favors the Gladiators, though, and it's unclear where Lip really was, but he's already 70% to his next EMP. What?
Yeah, it's just bonkers, as they already have a Nano as well. So what do they decide to do with the Nano? We saw yesterday in a bunch of our series that the Nano going over to even the Brigitte, but I don't think you're going to have that in this type of situation with so many players playing up the high ground and then split between the low ground.
Oh,
may not even need it. So Lip actually takes out Kevster here. That's another kill there from Lip to Kevster. So doing a nice job finding the Tracer and taking advantage of it.
Oh, the bomber's on the edge of the shield there. Oh, that's brutal. Again, it's a larger target now. Easy for Trace to at least get a bomb on that shield. Stalker's able to get the recall just in time. Everything's coming up pretty comfortably here for the Atlanta Reign. It's 4 minutes on the clock for this last phase of the map.
I don't even think it's like really a huge tank difference. I think just where you have Lip and Stalker, where you're looking at both of these players, on Sombra and Tracer respectively, like arguably the best players of the world at these heroes. They're just so devastating. I mean, Lip is able to, farm up these EMPs so fast, right? We just used one already about halfway to another one. It becomes really oppressive where you can't even get anything going if you're the Gladiators.
And think back, Lip turned that EMP into an insta-kill on Kevster, really allowing Stalker to do whatever he wanted. That's a pretty compromising position for Yaki to be in. He was forced to use his EMP and doesn't find any follow-up on Fielder. That is brutal stuff. The Gladiators lose a key ultimate, and Lip is again encroaching on yet another EMP the Glads won't have in the next fight.
No, I believe that was even a pulse bomb stick there from Kevster, I believe, on the Chio, but he lives on through it there with the Nano. So, I mean, look at this.
Actually, procedure, we see that Nano on towards the Brig when they get pulsed.
You have a self-destruct EMP pulse bomb rally here as the cart is turning the corner. And this has been, fantastic here from the Atlanta Reign. That's going to be the EMP connects to 3.
Yep, wait for Dante to full commit with that Winston dive, right? And then pop the EMP maker so there is no escape. There is no solace for the Winston. Shield bash there, knocks Kevster back, forces a recall now. Lastro's shield as well, getting pressured down. Stalker looking pretty comfortable here right now. That extra overshield given over by Chio. Self-destruct by Hawk, refreshing the mech, and Lastro now is out of the picture. Battle under a lot of pressure. He doesn't have the bandwidth to deal with Stalker. He just needs to hope he can stay alive, and Hawk puts him to bed. This card is about to get there. D-suit on Hawk. He'll be forced to go with the Bunny Blaster for now, but Kevster had to recall away. He's still able to find the Baby D, but it's a big pick-off here, and Dante's Primal could buy some space, but he slept off the cart. The Atlanta Reign get it done without Hawk. That is a Charles the Ninth.
And the Gladiators were starting to battle back. Kevster with some kills, battle Nanos, Dante, he's able to pick up one. You kind of you cycle that Nano on the Winston once that's up. You have the Primal to go with, right? You were getting players off the spawn. It looks like Dante just gets slept, and then nobody, he gets subbed as he's kind of diving back, and then there's nobody there to get close to the cart. Looks like a 3-player bio as well, but...
Yeah, there were 2 players on either side of Dante, but I think the consensus, the expectation was that Dante and Primal Rage would be touching, right? So there,
I think it was coming. Yeah, I think you would have needed somebody else to come up, because I think Dante was running out of Primal at that time. So maybe the idea was Kevster to come back in or something like that. I don't know, but still really rough regardless. Okay, let's see this from a top-down POV. So the Primal. Oh, he gets slept as he's trying to turn around and get back, and Lastro probably doesn't have a bash to get close.
Yeah, I think Lastro obviously puts his shield up for a time there, and look, your wires get crossed, right? When your plan changes so quickly from Dante's touching to, okay, Dante's asleep, someone else has to touch, very, very hard to pivot in that moment.
What's your thoughts on the Diva versus the Winston at this moment?
Look, again, Dante gets punished really badly, I think, when he sort of tries to dive in, right? You see him dive in, get EMP'd pretty much straight away, or hacked or anything like that. We talk about the difference in those tanks sort of paradigm where Hawk doesn't have to full commit, he can play a little bit more middle of the road, kind of like Tracer is compared to Genji in terms of how hard you're forced to commit on virtue of your kit. Even Hawk there, gets hacked, but is able to get up to the high ground and play more defensively. Maybe harder for Dante to heal as effectively.
Yeah, as Dante gets hacked, has to be so careful. I mean, so much damage coming down as you end up losing Lastro right off the rip here. Stalker just, so good on Tracer, just gets right into the mix, takes out Dante. So I think you mentioned, it looked actually good for the start there for the Gladiators, right? You get a hack on a Hawk, he's pretty weak. You kind of actually timed the hack on a Hawk with Dante jumping up to the high ground pretty perfectly. It's just there's enough healing and sustain there for the Reign that once Dante's in that position, it becomes very difficult, right? Where Lastro has to move up, play with him, and then you end up losing some players.
And Hawk's mid-flight at that point, so it doesn't actually stop him from going to that high ground and being able to sort of peel back, knock the Winston away. And And this is kind of what was hinted at on the desk. Can the Gladiators play this kind of style? Yaki's EMP getting forced that previous round is pretty brutal. Dante just getting piled on there. Look at the kill contributions from the entirety of the Atlanta Reign. But a good equalizer there from Kevster. It's going to take a little bit more than that for the time being. No Lastro, the recipient of the nano boost here, wanting to try and encroach on the point, but without Dante, it's tough for the Gladiators to extend any further than this, but they're happy on the point for the time being.
Yeah, they do a fantastic job, though. It would have been very difficult if Hawk was going to be able to stay in his mech and stay alive, but they actually get a quick hack, and then they just burn him down as he was already pretty low. So Hawk gets D-Mech taken out. It looks like the Gladiators should be able to take this first checkpoint.
Very close, 98.9. Yaki looks to seal the deal here with an EMP, and he lays it down. Chio in rally. Lastro already been removed. Yaki's forced to translocate out, and this is going wrong for the Gladiators. Stalker's able to find 2 quick kills, and Dante again is removed from the fight. The Gladiators are forced back to spawn.
How much more value that we just saw the Reign get out of their nano on the brig plus the rally than what we saw where Lastro didn't have the rally when he got the nano, but really when Babel nano Lastro, there was nothing he could do there in that type of position.
Yeah, I mean the Reign had the luxury to disengage against the nano brig.
I mean, the nano brig just is so difficult, especially with the rally going right, with even becoming stronger. Like, what do you even do there? Atlanta able to battle back, and now the Gladiators may not be able to do this.
Yeah, they could be in danger here. Kevster, another big stick onto Fielder, constantly finding the Ana with those pulse bombs. That's been crucial so far. Lastro this time finally gets the better of Chio, so 3 versus 5 here, favoring the Gladiators. Kevster now looking just to finish off the fight. And hey, the Glads do have to spend on some ultimates here, but they're happy enough just to stay in the map.
Yeah, just the pulse bomb kill at the beginning from Kevster, right? Just being able to get rid of 1 support at the start. I think it's so important as well, right? After losing a first round, right? Your defense where you kind of get pushed off the cart, right? Momentum's starting to go the other way. You lose a fight there where now it's like coming into question whether you even take that first checkpoint. Kevster coming out clutch there, being able to get rid of 1 support. Kind of puts everybody a little bit at ease there for the Gladiators to take that first checkpoint.
Yaki got himself nestled into the backline of the Reign here, but the EMP comes out first for Lip, and again he follows it up instantly. Hawk is there, and Lastro, well, he's just a steaming pile on the ground after that one. Nano boost on towards Dante, but he doesn't really have anywhere to go. In fact, no option to do so as the hack came in, preventing him from having any mobility whatsoever. And that nano boost essentially goes down the gurgler.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, that's like the second one, right? Where they nano Lastro on the point where he's got like 70% to rally and they've already lost Dante. And then that time you nano Dante and you don't really get anything out of it. So some pretty rough, uses of the nano boost here from the Gladiators. Not really getting a ton of value from it, but see what Yaki said too. Oh, destroys the translocator as well.
That's really nice. I thought there might have been an EMP there. Yaki still needs to... Oh my! Chio just boxed him! Yaki... Back to spawn with you. That looks like he didn't have a translocator to teleport back to. So Lip might actually have done the same thing. Or maybe Yaki didn't have one set up. Either way, he was in prime position for a big EMP or a lot of disruption. He gets nothing.
Yeah, he obviously don't have that translocator. I mean, can't really get anything going there. I did like the play from Yaki, though, at the start, though. Get the hack, destroy the translocator so Lip can't come back and help. I really like that play. Just obviously didn't work out.
But Hawk is also positioning himself so he can turn around and rocket boost it back to Fielder there. Keep an eye on it here. EMP plus Winston dive. That's basically everything. And here we just nano Chio. Fielder stays alive because he wasn't the initial target, apparently. Eventually he's going to be brought down. Chio has a rally, but may opt not to use it here. Take it back. He's going to go for it. And might not be the best situation to make use of it here. It's going to be Hawk getting Pulse Bomb after getting D-Mexed. And that ultimate gets committed to a losing fight for the Reign.
Yeah, it's huge. I don't think he wanted to use the rally Chio right away because I don't think they were like really intending to save Hawk. He was just going to use the self-destruct and get a mech back. But getting the Pulse Bomb on the Baby Diva, not allowing Hawk get another mech is huge. Is now I think if you're the Reign, I was gonna say you're just kind of like rotating on here to maybe stall this out, but that EMP says they think that this is winnable.
Kevster for 2, not too shabby for to say so. Zork is forced to blink away and give the point up to the Gladiators. And hey, not a terrible time bank to work with, but with how overwhelming the Atlanta Reign were on their attacking side, the Glads do not have a chance to come close in time bank. They just want to get this map done and hope for a hold on D.
And maybe they view that as a reasonable trade there for the Atlanta Reign. Use your EMP. They end up using their nano there at the end onto the Brig, where you believe that Lip can build these EMPs up so fast that it's a worthy trade, especially with they're going to have a better time bank, right? You see the Gladiators only with 1 minute and 43 to complete the map. Reign still have 2 minutes, with how fast they were going. So maybe you view that as a worthy trade where you're looking at just one fight here at the end to seal the map.
Now, Dante's done a great job in this Primal Rage to set up the rest of his team. He was slept there initially, but Kevster's able to attack a Pulse Bomb to Hawk and get him demeched, essentially making him a non-factor in that fight. The Gladiators have been able to advance pretty comfortably now into this last phase of the map, the back of those two players primarily. Stalker wants to play the periphery, but he gets hit with a Biotic Grenade.
His positioning is so good, Stalker. It seems like there's no shot that he's going to get caught out early, as Yaki actually takes out Lip, so this is huge. So maybe this is the opening that the Gladiators need.
Io there, forced a recall from Kevster rather prematurely. Yaki setting up for the EMP, wants to go for it here. Oh no, it's gone wrong. Okay, Hawk was hacked at the very least, but looked like there was a little bit of a shield bash and a great turn on towards the Sombra. Once more, Yaki is not able to facilitate for a fight win off the back of that key ultimate.
But they end up using their nano boost there, so you have double support all coming in. Rally plus nano here for the Gladiators as Dante will make the swap.
Lip has EMP, I don't care.
Yeah, Lip does have EMP. I mean, you know it's going to be a good one.
All right, Babel going to have to hold on to this one. We send it over to Lastro if he starts to experience some degree of duress. Babel playing very safe. They're tracking the EMP for sure, but Kevster got brought down. He got hacked, I think, as he thought he was taking a one-to-one duel with Stalker. There was no gentleman's agreement made prior. 7 seconds left in the round. Lip can end it all here with a big EMP. Surely he doesn't just go for it on Kevster. Hack there attempted, he picks him off. Stalker's there again, the 1-2 punch of the Tracer Sombra gets the better of Kevster once more. Hawk playing for the high ground there, trying to stay safe, but the healing has been pretty plentiful from Fielder and Chio. The latter has fallen though, and Hawk now needs to try and hide behind that self-destructing mech to have a chance to get back in. Great pulse bomb from Stalker though, he sticks it to Lastro and Yaki's forced to translocate away. Kevster will step up with Babel desperately trying to keep him alive in the background, but just how deep can you go? The Suzu came out there, nice little switch to Kiriko, pulse bomb ineffective, and classically, another Yaki EMP in garbage time. It doesn't pay off, and the Atlanta Reign takes some strides forward in that second map.
I mean, the play from Lip and Stalker combination on Sombra Tracer is unreal. I mean, they were able to make Kevster's life just hell on that map. I mean, every time he was trying to make a play, hack on one side, the Tracer on the other to finish it off. Maybe it's just the Sombra at times. But even with all that, the Gladiators did still hang in there for a really long period of time.
That EMP there, yeah, catches Fielder, right? Yaki feels like he was forced to do it, but, reasonable minds may differ on that particular decision. Again, we talk about Lip and Stalker combining really effectively onto those targets. Lip getting a hack on Kevster, Stalker just descending on them. Meanwhile, Yaki playing a little bit differently, less of a grouping up between him and Kevster. Yaki trying to just really secure these big EMPs, and it appears that Yaki, typically playing quite solo, harassing backlines, trying to get big EMPs. Fortunately, it just doesn't come out in the wash the way the Gladiators would have liked it to. The Reign looking a little bit better in those Sombra-based comps, as was predicted. One more chance for the Glads to hang on here. Right now, it's by the skin of their teeth, so stick around for Havana.
Giants
Fighting Astro.
That is the delay tactics widely dealt
In a 4v5, oh, not quite so much anymore. Kevster dishing out the damage.
This is giving me vibes of Florida against the Atlanta Rain.
What? That is dirty.
A rough return here, just kind of getting bullied.
That was a good shot. Wave hello, maybe goodbye to the rest of your team, Decay, because Lastro's on the field. Nano Zen just to keep him alive. Rolling, trying to keep everybody alive. And Hydron, oh boy, punched into oncoming traffic. Dante shuts him down.
Perhaps some signs of fatigue setting in for the Los Angeles Gladiators, continuing to be put to the test this weekend. One juggernaut opponent after another. Yes, they can handle the mayhem with the Atlanta Rain, looking like a different breed, Matthew.
I mean, yeah, so we have Funny Astro coming in here for battle, but I don't even know. It just looks like the Atlanta Rain are on a different level. And I don't even think this is like necessarily a Gladiators thing. I think it's just maybe with the way that the meta is shaken out and the best heroes, they got all the right players right now, but man, they are looking dominant. As dominant as we have ever seen anybody before.
Yeah, we saw obviously both teams opt for Sombra Tracer styles. Yes, the tanks differed on Blizzard World. It may have been a preference thing. We've seen actually, more teams go for the D.Va than Winston. Whether that's a real point of difference or not, or whether it came down to the execution of this sort of Sombra Tracer duo is another story entirely. Either way, that's history. A very successful outing for the Atlanta Rain, and now they have an opportunity here to make it a perfect season so far. Another 3-0 would really put them on the pedestal. With all eyes turned towards them, the Atlanta Rain look to establish their dominance in a big way.
Yes, you'll have the Gladiators starting things off here on D with a composition that is very familiar from map number 1. We saw them run this on our Antarctic Peninsula map here to kick things off. Looks like we'll be going with the same thing again here. Atlanta, obviously some flexibility here on the offensive side to kick things off. Lifeweaver would be a bit of a surprise. Lifeweaver seems to be the official we know we're going to beat you watch this pick, as he's been here early in the season. Yeah, so full swap up. I will say though, Mitch, when we saw this in map number 1, Atlanta was getting the better of the Gladiators with that Sombra in the mix.
Yeah, it was an incremental advantage in a small one at times. Ended up being a very close map here. Very different story, very different battlefield. Stalker playing pretty close to the front line here, but already the Gladiators' defensive setup looking to buckle under the pressure. Lastro is brought down. Kevster at least was able to find some sort of action here. With Gladiators losing their tank now, it's all over with the crying for this first fight.
Yes, this one will end, looks like pretty fast here. What do you do if you're the Gladiators? Like, because if you're gonna, you don't wanna, I mean, Kevster's like, would you say, not really like a Sombra player, right? Like, if you're looking at like Kevster's hero pool, like the things he doesn't really play, like there's not really much, but typically when we've seen it, it's been like Yaki on the Sombra, right? Yes. So like, what do you do if you can't mirror this? I guess this is the next best option.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why. I mean, you can maybe match the sort of DPS lineup of the Atlanta Rain, but perhaps the Gladiators don't feel like they have that chance in a quote-unquote fair fight. They get absolutely crushed here on the corner. Really not much to be done for the... And Atlanta don't spend any ultimates, crucially.
No, these fights end so fast. I mean, they don't spend any ultimates, and they're just kind of like barreling on through. I mean, look at this. Hawk already has, I know, an Annihilation. Dante's at 60%. I mean... Yeah, you're behind on a lot of different ultimates, and I think it's just like how annoying that this has to be to deal with, right? With Lip so good on the Sombra and like the back end, just like hacking and constantly pestering, and then you're also losing the fights on the front line pretty fast, right? So you're just in a really tough spot here for the Gladiators.
What a blizzard. You saw, I mean, Lastro trying to play fairly safely from that position and just keep Dante alive, but his positioning is rather, I guess, telegraphed, given that when we saw the Ramatra trying to make a push from that spot. And the Blizzard is thrown back far enough by Stalker. He sort of sees it coming. Majax. Yaki forced to part with his ultimate prematurely, and in fact has it utterly negated. That really hurts, especially seeing how much value Stalker was able to get out of his. This is why I talk about fatigue, Matthew, because the Atlanta Reign are actually playing more up-tempo than they did in the last couple of maps. They have another gear, and the Gladiators are struggling to keep up now.
Fatigue,
Dante
you're
wants to
saying
try and
like
get through here.
actual, like they're actually getting tired.
Mentally fatigued, surely. There's a physical component to this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think playing at that fast pace, I think it's probably just more of the pace in combination with forcing to like play like frenetic a little bit because of the Sombra on the other side. Because it's one of the more annoying things like in a shooting game and really any type of game, right? Where you're really kind of like focusing on the fight in front of you, or at least you want to, and then you have to turn, and multiple players have to turn, right? So you're never really all on the same page. Some people feel like the decision is to turn and fight. Some people feel like the decision is to ignore, keep going forward and fight. And you know, you get people on all these different pages, and it throws coordination out the window.
EMP, it's a massive one. Yaki, Dante, everyone caught up in it. Funny, Astro never had a chance to build up that sound barrier. And again, the Los Angeles Gladiators get utterly eviscerated. 4 minutes, 22 on the clock for the Atlanta Reign. And I tell you what, there's definitely a hush over the Gladiators camp now as they are getting absolutely bent into a paper clip.
Yeah, this has not been great for the Gladiators. But maybe here's an opening, right? You get a kill here onto Lip. Also, this is one of the most, I don't know what was going on with Summer's Rag though there. Is one of the hardest points to just complete, right? Yeah. So you've been steamrolled thus far, but maybe now is the opportunity you can get a hold.
That's an interesting immortality field for Lastro. I've got to wonder what actually prompted that. No one looked particularly low. Maybe he was taking some poke from Stalker or someone similar. Either way, may not matter. It's going to be annihilation from Dante, and Hawk has to accept his fate there. He holds onto that ultimate himself here, and the Gladiators really have no choice but to, again, spend some of this stuff, give themselves a staging ground a little bit closer to the spawn of the Atlanta Reign, trying to play around some form of choke, be it artificial or otherwise.
Yeah, but the hardest part is Atlanta doesn't feel that pressure at all to invest in any of these fights. I mean, sure, you lose that one there. The Gladiators have to just stop the bleeding of the cart, just kind of like plowing through the map. Atlanta doesn't really feel that pressure at all. It's a Maywall here from both sides. Dante actually gets caught on the bad end of it. It's a Blizzard that may not even be that necessary.
It's a Lastro immortality field, though, that can't save Dante's life. It comes a little bit too late in the day. Good patience from Hawk, though, Matt. He actually doesn't use the Annihilation, even though he sort of pops out of Nemesis form and is feeling a little bit vulnerable. Interesting wall there, kind of cuts Kevster out of the fight, leaves Yaki stranded for the rest of his team. And Hawk wants to start to knock on the gates here. The drawbridge is lowered as the Atlanta Reign start to make the final approach.
And this is a really bad here because Atlanta's going to come into what very well could be the final moments of this.
Come on, Kev.
EMP gets away. Fielder will actually use an Ant Matrix there on top of the payload there. It's like a double-stacked Maywall, and it'll be an annihilation. This is go time for the Reign.
Atlanta banked all of these ultimates. It's now time to make use of them. Kevs is able to break line of sight for the EMP apparently there, but there's going to be a kill claimed by the Annihilation. It's Dante being forced to capitulate. And this is an ugly one for the Gladiators. It's an absolute stinker. This is the scene of some of the Gladiators' greatest triumphs in the past, but right now they are being forced to kneel. Chio at least is picked off from the high ground. Lastro has a decent advantage, but Hawk just throws up the shield, turns his attention out towards Dante, who's going to be hacked. Going to be corralled in the corner here. Lastro has an angle to heal him up, and Kevster's timing is pretty good. He's able to bring Stalker down, and the healing keeps Dante standing. Atlanta Reign are forced back to spawn.
A huge high ground advantage there for the Gladiators, obviously on the defensive side of things. Ends up proving out to be too strong, even with all those ultimates thrown in from the Reign. But now if you're the Reign, like, what do, right? You push the payload basically into the distance here. You still have a minute 30, right? It would obviously be awesome to finish the map, but not super required here on Havana. Do you just kind of like poke a little bit, maybe get Stalker with a Blizzard here coming up next? You can actually maybe even build an Ant Matrix out of this as well.
Yeah, maybe try and do this, except the other way around, right? Catch Dante inside a Blizzard, bring him down before he has a chance to use Annihilation.
But Hawk was pretty safe there, right? Nemesis form and then just a block, and he's able to walk backwards, and that ends up building up this Ant Matrix. So you have an Ant Matrix with a Blizzard here, like you can kind of like section some players off here, pick up a kill or two, and you're good to go. Oh, Hawk's dead.
Yeah, unclear how he sort of falls there to that Dante AoE.
Oh,
that's not good. Yep.
He was resetting anyway. Got booped off.
Again, like you kind of mentioned, Matt, a map completion here is definitely a stretch goal. The Atlanta Reign probably do want to do that at the very least, and probably should, given how dominant they've been for much of this map. Looking to make that happen off the back of the EMP we saw Amp Matrix use in that previous fight, but Hawk just got brought down pretty quickly. It's treacherous, right? There's a real choke here, and there's a great risk of Yaki just catching him out with a Maywall. We've seen that happen a couple times. Hawk almost has to bait it out.
Yeah, the advantage for the Gladiators here would be actually having the M-Matrix plus probably a sound barrier coming through, but Kevster connects with Stalker here early on.
Yeah, there you go. Great shot on Lip there. Yeah, Kevster really cool in a very high pressure situation there. Just waits for the crosshair to be where it needs to be. Slams that right click. Another catch on towards Fielder. He's caught inside that disruptor shot. It's a sound barrier for just 2 players. Annihilation though, but a very durable Gladiators here. The exception of Yaki as that sound barrier expires, but Kevster's playing an off angle the whole time. And the Rain are going to be brought down before they can finish the map.
So really, all Rain up until this final portion of the map. And that's where the Gladiators are able to make their stand with about, 2.5, close to 3 minutes to go. I'm worried, though, like how the Gladiators go on the offensive side of things, with this Sojourn kind of variation of the Ramatra kind of composition that we see the Atlanta Rain running to really high effect with the Sombra. The Sombra can play really close here at the spawn door. It could be a nuisance. It could be pretty difficult to get the payload moving if that's what Atlanta comes out with.
Well, I think it's an interesting comparison because I think a lot of teams, when they have the opportunity to, are opting into a Sombra Trace or Sombra May compositions. The Gladiators are adamant about keeping Kev on this Sojourn, for example. I'm curious to see what you think. Is it sort of, overall, like in general, a good read on how to play? Maybe like you can pressure the May down from longer ranges? Or is it really just like an individual preference? They're really trying to leverage Kevster's hit scam prowess on this hero and say it's worth it not having the Sombra on their side?
I think it's also, I think it's probably trying to like leverage some of Kevster's awesome like hit scan abilities. I also think it's a little bit of just kind of this is what their best look is with this roster in, right? I don't think it's been a bad look at all. I mean, they probably played good enough today to beat a lot of other teams in the league, maybe just not the Atlanta Rain this far with how we've seen them play throughout the season. Is Atlanta will come out with Hawk on the Rhine, and then they'll have Lip playing Sim. So this is a very burly, close quarters, brawly composition that they want to see if the Gladiators can break this setup.
That gets scouted out by a Sonic Arrow from the Gladiators just before a switch of hero. The Symmetra's pretty scary up close, and especially if you have a sturdy front line with a consistent barrier like Reinhardt gives you. Lip is going to be charged up and ready to rumble. And look at the repositioning here through the teleporter. This is really hard to keep track of. Lip now has the option to go back the other way, through the TP to the other side, and no one can catch him. He's blinking left, right, and center. And the Gladiators, no blink here. Those eyes are just shut.
And Dante is such a huge target when he's using the block to be able to just farm up, the Symmetra damage, the ramp on the beam with is... See, Gladiators have their second attempt here to get out of their spawn as Lip using the teleporter really well there on the first fight.
Yeah, you can't keep track of him, right? As soon as Kevster whips his head around, Lip's on the other side of the map once more. Amp Matrix here could be devastating. Maywall thrown up to try and mitigate the impact of that, at least for these next few seconds. Hawk's a little low, definitely needs healing. Immortality Field deployed. He needs to step forward into it, though. And he's about ready to go for it. Needs to be careful. Shield gets brought down before he has a chance to make use of that Earth Shatter. So the Atlanta Rain here might be in trouble. Still playing with 4, but they're very, very low. Lip's having to trade and get rid of Funny Astro in the sound barrier now. We're going to see the Rain commit here. Lip burns yet another one down. The Gladiators come out of the microwave looking proper wrinkly and overcooked.
As now you get Hawk back in the fight here is another fight win there for the Atlanta Rain. It was the Amp Matrix that really did Hawk in, but look at this. Back at full strength. Everybody here for the Rain. Shatter available.
Throws that one down, catches Dante, sound barrier, immortality field, all those defensive cooldowns being leveraged at the start of the fight. Here's the wall from Lip, and Stalker's able to find 2 quick ones. Lip's charged up, ready to go. That wall's still in play. Yaki is beleaguered here. There's no way he wins that one out. It was close, to be fair, but the Atlanta Rain are still comfortable playing right outside the gates of the Gladiator spawn with less than 2 minutes left in the round.
I mean, I was going to say 4v5 is a much nicer spot to be rather than 3v5, especially without a support and a tank. Stalker ends up losing his life on the way out, but still, I feel like the damage is done. I mean, you just burned off a significant period of time off the clock for the Gladiators that even if they're able to get checkpoint A, I mean, think about how fast they're going to have to get through the second part of the map.
Oh yeah. The rails are going to have to be proper greased from this point out, man.
Hawk has
Kevster,
not looked like he's
talked
had
about
an
that
awesome
sojourn.
time here on Reinhardt. It's been brutal. Just like not as much mobility, right? No, Ramattra gets a little bit of a speed boost there, a little bit more flexibility with the shield. It's been tough, keeping Hawk alive in some of these fights.
Yeah, again, look, there's a reason why a lot of teams are going away from the Reinhardt in many of these situations. I think the fact that we still see it here is interesting. I thought it would be a holdover from that first point and maybe a switch by now. But here's the Amp Matrix. Dante gets taken down. Hawk's able to find him with that Fire Strike. It wasn't even amped, so Dante just taken a ton of poke prior to that. And now you can actually start to ease into this a little bit more. Hawk's unperturbed by the Immortality Field, and Yaki gets battered and bruised.
Yeah, and there's not much time for the Gladiators to ease into this. 30 seconds remaining.
There's no easing, bro.
Yeah, there's no more easing here for the Gladiators. I feel like they've had a bit of time to ease. I don't think this is the time right now. I mean, what do you have? Blizzard here? Now you're gonna have to get close to be able to get a good use of this, and then you have an Amp Matrix. Amp Matrix on this one corner, forced a position. But Stalker with a Blizzard of his own, and they're going to have a sound barrier here. How are you going to beat this?
It's on Lastro's shoulders in a big way here, Matt. A timely amplification matrix could turn this one around. Hawk is low, but Chio gets a sound barrier just in time. It's not enough to save Hawk, though. He gets brought down even with the Immortality Field in play. Fielder cannot keep the Rhine standing. Lastro inside an emo of his own. Yaki's able to bring down Fielder, and it's going to be the Gladiators with a stay of execution and a chance to strike back at the Rain.
Oh, they tried to do everything to keep Hawk alive, right? You got, Maywall sectioned off. They tried, Immortality Field, sound barrier. It's just a lot of focus fire and damage going down on the Reinhardt. But I feel like if you're the Atlanta Reign, you kind of completed your mission there in point number 1, right? You forced so much time off the clock that essentially the Gladiators need to complete the map to win the map. And now with 2 minutes to go here, I mean, look at this. It looks like a TP up to the high ground here, just circumvent where the Gladiators are playing. With this much time, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, okay. No Immortality Field right now, but the Reign still choose to drop down regardless. They're insisting on playing around this Reinhardt composition, but this could get a little bit ugly. Look at the reposition. The charge, I think it was from Hawk. Yeah, moving Yaki, rather Dante away inside that Annihilation. Could have gone a lot better. I mean, it could have been much worse for the Reign because they literally dropped down onto the spike pit of that Ramattra ultimate. I like the attempt from Hawk to reposition the offending enemy tank player, but yeah, that's a nasty ultimate from Dante.
But you come out of here, you get a shatter, you get a fight win, let's say, some investment to some of these ultimates here for the Gladiators. You win that, you're in a prime position to get a hold here on checkpoint B. It's just the damage you did outside of that spawn door is going to live on for the rest of the map.
Still on the Rhine, still on the Symmetra. Atlanta convinced that there's some degree of efficacy here, and oh my goodness, from the top rope comes Hawk, and the response was perfect though. Sound barrier, Immortality Field was there, but again, all of your defensive cooldowns have already been expended early on in the fight. Hawk is still providing a front line for Lip, who is well and truly charged up, ready to go, but the healing may be lacking.
They drop a Blizzard.
It doesn't matter though. Fielder's been busy doing damage otherwise, and yeah, this one might have been thrown away though. Yaki's able to find Hawk, but Lip is still a factor in this fight, and nobody can stop him.
Oh, yeah, you use that Blizzard there at the end where I know now they're going to have probably a sound barrier here potentially for Chio as yeah, the Blizzard could have been the thing that like you force the right because they have to force these fights on the point, and the Reign want to take them as well because they have the Reinhardt where it's like a prime opportunity to get players inside of that Blizzard where now not having it could be pretty bad for the Gladiators.
Watch how Kevster responds to Lip's wall here. It's going to be very critical. A lot of poke damage there towards Dante, but Lastro had a cute little off angle, and he might have a decent vantage point to make use of this Amp Matrix. Kevster a little low there, maybe pressure from Stalker at range. You mentioned that Blizzard. Here's that wall though. Kevster now on the outside looking in and realizes, I can't do much about this. I need to get a bit closer.
No.
Even from this high ground, there's no way to use the Amp Matrix. Lip's wall comes at a perfect time, but it's still a 5 versus 5.
It's going to be an overclock here from the high ground. He's going to get 1, and that's huge. Was that actually what he's going for B? Because Chio doesn't have it anymore. I mean, that is a massive shot.
Fielder gets taken down there. There it is. Kevster may have saved the day here. Lip and Hawk, though, still combining. Lip really dangerous from behind that Rhine shield. Funny Astro trying to split up these plays, and Kevster's trying to get around the shield itself. He keeps a respectful distance from Lip, but this is now bleeding time. Some time for the Atlanta Reign to get back in, and they can't touch the cards. What a heartbreaker for the Gladiators. Within striking distance, heroics from Kevster on full display, and it's not enough. to topple Atlanta.
Oh, that one hurts. That one hurts. I mean, Kevster just popping off with the overclock there. I mean, coming up with some huge kills. But nobody wants to push into the Reinhardt. Nobody wants to push into the Sim. I believe you also had Shio coming back off the spawn at that point as well. Maybe you got a boop there at the end, didn't really see it, but that is some tough losses for the Gladiators in this series.
Yeah, look, I think they started the series looking pretty strong, right? They're able to play a style that seemed to suit them. We talked about Dante on the Ramatra.
Yeah.
And he's looked really good in general. One thing you mentioned to me, which I thought was pretty disappointing in this matchup, is that against any other team, the Los Angeles Gladiators are probably finding a lot of success playing at this level. The Atlanta Reign, though, have established that there is quite a gulf between them, maybe Houston, and the rest of the league right now. They look extremely frightening. It's not just Lip, right? It's Hawk, it's the backline, it's so frightening. And your player of the match here, of course, is going to be the aforementioned Lip on the Sombra. A key point of difference between these teams when there was a mirror or quasi-mirror, his Sombra just looked a little bit better today.
Yeah, I mean, the things he does on Sombra is, I mean, you just can't copy it. I mean, nobody in the league, does it like Lip. And I think when you have such a hero like Sombra who can be very oppressive in the right player's hands, and you have the best one, running it, I think you see what you saw today, where he can take over a series and open up so many opportunities for players like Stalker and Hawk. Just a fantastic game all around here from Lip.
Yeah, Lip, obviously, for the entire match, right, only 2 deaths per 10. He and Stalker combining, looking like one of the most ferocious DPS duos in the entire league. Stalker on Blizzard World has 0 deaths. He goes 15-0 on that Tracer. And we saw the synergy between these two players that has had to be erected extremely rapidly, right, in that offseason. And there are a lot of teams that have had, similar changes in rosters coming into this season that haven't been able to get to the same level remotely as fast. The Atlanta Reign, for that reason and many more, top dog in this matchup. And if you told me, Matt, we were headed for another day of 3 Overwatch, I wouldn't have believed you. The Gladiators don't look any weaker than they did yesterday. But my goodness, the Atlanta Reign.
No,
like
I still feel really good about the Gladiators. I mean, you get a big win this week over the Florida Mayhem, right? It kind of goes all the way to the distance. You come up here against the Atlanta Reign, obviously not the result you would have wanted, but very competitive on control. You saw some things that you can definitely go back and work on that can help close the gap between you and some of the teams at the very tippity top of the West.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Lastro on the Baptiste, it's always a pleasure to see him go back to that. But there were quite a few moments, right, where he is unable to anticipate just the sheer amount of burst damage that comes from the side of the Atlanta Reign in terms of keeping his tank alive. Very, very hard in that position, right? Especially when your opponents are extremely accurate and very effective there. We saw sort of Kevster bring the Sojourn in that last fight of the map. Kevster, look, huge brain on the guy. He knows there's a Symmetra wall in play. He knows he can't get value out of that amplification matrix, so he bides his time. He waits. He finds an incredible position on top of the Brewing Vats. He's able to find these insane eliminations, these key kills, even through an immortality field from the side of the Atlanta Reign. And it's devastating. It's still not enough, and that's the story for the Gladiators in this match. Matt, they're still well positioned for the rest of the season, but the Atlanta Reign looking a cut above. I can't wait to hear what the Disc has to say on this. We're going to head over to Watchpoint and have them break it down for us in just a moment.
Welcome back to Watchpoint, everybody. I do have to agree with Mitch and Matt. Atlanta Reign looking like they're cut above the rest. What do you guys think about the match?
Wait, why are you here?
Yeah. Oh, what'd you get to? Who's this guy?
Get him out of here.
Mr. Jack Wright.
Hey,
let's start with you.
Let's start with me?
Let's start with you.
You're in the hot seat. Look, I came in.
You're
ready
the guest. You're the VIP.
VIP?
You're the VIP.
What treatment do I get? Maybe a bottle?
Well, Mr. Wright.
Yes?
Would you please enlighten us with your insight about the match that just happened?
Well, thank you, then. I think I will. I think Lip did very well. I think Stalker also kind of dominated. I was going to say a different word, beginning with P, but I'm not sure that's safe for broadcast. Now,
wow, are you new to this? What's going on, buddy?
First time.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll guide you along the desk.
They dominated. Look,
yeah, they did dominate.
They're some of the best players in the league. They have championship on the backline. Lip exists, and then Stalker also exists in the backline and in the heads of every single backline in the Overwatch League. There's nothing stopping them.
analysis.
Analysis.
There we go.
Analysis.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it here. Stalker robbed for POTM this game. Robbed. Highway robbery.
There has been a lot of Lip recently.
I mean, I know Lip's a god. Like, don't get me wrong. But Stalker popping off crazy level on the Tracer. Okay, whatever. You could say that's his hero. He's so good. Then pops off crazy on the Mei. Constant opening picks, sniping with Mei. That is different. That is different. It's not something we normally see.
I mean, it's just an unbelievable like domination of the Gladiators, because Gladiators are supposed to be like competitive in this match. Gladiators actually beat them in the Pro-Am leading into the season. So you're thinking like, wow, these are two top teams going at it. You got Kevster on one side, Lip on the other, and Atlanta just like completely differentiate the LA Gladiators, and it's not even a contest. It's Atlanta Reign are looking unstoppable so far.
I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think anyone can like take them down in Curve War.
I think the difference is this. I think we have so many teams like Gladiators have great players, right? And we have Boston Uprising has great players, but Atlanta Reign, I think they're different in that like just their team synergies. Like just their whole team is just monsters.
Yeah.
Their dives, remember like Sombra like doing a hack or like an EMP, and then everyone
They're just built
dives.
different. You can't even react with a cooldown when Lip goes for those EMPs, because Stalker's already there, like a microsecond away, and it's like, oh, Arno, oh, nade, lamp, like sleep, something. You just can't react to that.
I think that's like the high level play. I think that just shows how great Atlanta is.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
every team has great players, but I just so far Atlanta, like I don't know what their weakness is. I don't know how you get an edge on this team. No one has shown us that yet. Houston's maybe the last team that I think has a hope at that.
Yeah, and even Houston, you're like, well, Houston, they're excelling, of course. Fearless is playing Winston.
We haven't
they're
seen them in a bit.
so dominant in the Winston. Atlanta, they can do it all.
Yeah.
Like they got Vigilante just like chilling on the bench, and he's one of the best
Double
flex supports like
He's
in
gonna go
the
crazy.
world. Yeah,
It will be ridiculous.
it's a stacked team.
It's going to have to take a massive meta shift, I think, for them to actually find a stumbling block. And even then, it's like, well, that's fine. Vigilante, they have Dong
It's
Hack.
like what meta are they worried about?
Yeah, exactly.
We're searching.
It seems so scary.
I mean, it's no question that they are probably the best in the West right now. And we do have an interview with Atlanta Reign's tank player. We got Hawk on the line for the post-match interview. Hawk, can you hear me? Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hawk, congratulations on the win. I'm just going to start off with this interview. I do want to ask about, I guess, sort of the meta. I think in week one, we saw a lot of Winston, but I think coming into week two, not only Atlanta Reign, but a lot of different teams are sort of shying away from Winston. Do you feel like Winston is falling off the meta now?
Maybe a little bit he's falling off the meta, but I think for the most part, we just had really good like ROM Rush maps or Rhine Rush maps this week for our match against Glads, and one of them against Vancouver. So it's kind of just map dependent, and it goes from it just goes map to map whether you play Monkey or other heroes.
Okay.
Well, what I want to ask Hawk, I think this is something that a lot of people talked about regarding you on this team in the preseason and leading up. But now that we've seen a little bit more of you guys, I feel like Atlanta is picking up steam as a team. But how are you feeling as far as your synergy with the team, given that you're the only Western player on this team? Like, what are the comms like? You guys look really well drilled, and so I want to know, like, how's that been coming together from your perspective?
When I'm in, the comms are mostly English, but they still sometimes say things like to each other in Korean that I can't pick up because I know basic callouts and stuff like that decently well, pretty well, and they've been really supportive of just like speaking English, helping me out, and I think playing with Shield and Fielders makes it really easy to play Rush, and we just have best in slot players for almost every role, even double flex support and Winston and Ball. So it really feels good to play with, and I think Rush mirrors feel really nice with Fielder and Chio.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really curious about bringing in Chio and Fielder actually into this mix, because obviously they were part of Dallas Fuel, and Dallas Fuel are amazing when it comes to Rush composition. So what are the types of calls they make that make a big difference for you as the tank player in the Rush composition? What makes it such a big difference when you have Chio and Fielder on your team?
Like when we have an advantage, like a skill advantage, or like it's our turn to go, they really, really know when to do that. And if I die without getting like droned or naded or nanoed, he pretty much has his fault. Like he wants me to like just get in there, take as much aggro as possible. Even if I have no cooldowns, like it's really helpful. And I've never played anyone like that wants me to go with no cooldowns if they have a skill advantage, but their own skill advantage. So it feels really nice.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Hawk.
All right. Jack, do you have anything?
I cannot hear Hawk, but
that's
you
true.
will have
That's
to
true.
transcribe.
Okay. Any question? Any question?
What do you want to know?
What do you want to know?
What do I want to know?
Anything you want from Hawk.
What
Legend.
team right now would you say, apart from yourself, is the strongest in the region?
What team other than the Atlanta Reign is the strongest in the region? Okay. You wanted me to repeat it.
I got it. But I can speak. It's okay.
Hey, it's kind of I always have to translate, so it's just in my head. All right.
You're doing beautifully, Larry.
Right,
Yeah,
it's English, right?
All right, there you go.
I'd probably say Outlaws, but we haven't scrimmed them in a while, and they haven't played this week, and we play them next week, so it should be a good match, and that'll probably be like a really good telling of who's the best team right now.
He said Boston Uprising.
He said
No, I'm kidding. He said Houston Outlaws.
All right, Hawk, I'm gonna wrap up the interview. Congratulations on the win. Thank you so much, and hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
thank you.
So what do you say?
He said Houston Outlaws.
He said he's excited for their
Teamwork.
next match. All right, here it is. Let's get to
Yeah.
all the matches that have been played today. Of course, Boston Uprising against Florida Mayhem. Mayhem getting the win 3-0. Boston versus Vancouver Titans. Titans actually got the win against Boston Uprising. And then we rounded out the day. Gladiators versus Atlanta Reign. Atlanta Reign still looking very, very scary.
They're so good.
Very good. And all these, I think today, all of the matches were just great. There's
Even
so
though
many
it was
good
3-0s, I had fun today. Like it was every match was exciting. That one in the middle, especially Vancouver bringing out the upset. I love it. I'm here.
It just opens up so many possibilities where now we're like, can Vancouver beat, obviously Toronto, but how do they compete against Gladiators, Florida Mayhem? Like they just up themselves another level by beating down the Boston Uprising like that. So very impressive.
Right. I mean, talking about impressive, I think I shouldn't have said that. Now I don't know how to transition again. But best of the days. Yeah, there were a lot of impressive moments. I had it.
You're doing great, Daddy. You're doing great.
Let's just go down the line. Think of something, Jack, as well. Your favorite moment. This is where we talk about our favorite moment of today. I'm gonna start with. Let's just call this. How about Bird Ring Super Saiyan mode? I say that because this was during their match. Of course, Bird Ring was on Sombra, and then he gets sniped. Look how
He's so mad.
angry he is, and then he goes, "Hey, you know what? Just put me on Widow. I'll show you guys. I will get some kills." And then he just does that. He just goes on Widow, gets so many kills.
So monster.
Yeah.
Dude, like
This one right here. This one right here. Is like unnecessary.
Oh my.
Unnecessary.
It's some of the craziest Widow play we've seen so far. Like Widow play is crazy to look at, but having two top tier Widows, it's insane.
Yeah, Jay, you were mentioning that. Like, it's common to see like one Widow popping off, but this was special because we got both sides, Aspire popping off and the Bird Ring popping off as well, right?
I love that reaction from him. He's like, I'm done with Summer. Get me out of this. I'm done.
Guys, so don't try to read his mouth, but he was just very angry.
He was
very angry.
He was passionate. He was passionate.
He was very passionate.
For me, my best of the day, I've got to hand it to Sugar Free. It was definitely Lenny time on Oasis. Two huge plays on the Genji. Not only this one, which I love to see a little non-ultimate Genji play, just popping off, with these cleanups, big dash
Dashes,
resets.
misses, shurikens.
Boom.
Yep.
Boom.
Here we go. Here we go.
I'm sorry, were you speaking, Johnny? Were you saying something? I must have missed it. Because Sugar Free absolutely tore it up here. And then I think we even might have another one for you. Yes. This one.
The 3K.
You TP in front of me? No. No, in the Kirikol. And winning that blade fight with
that's crazy.
that's
Round-winning
super
fight.
impactful, right?
Yeah.
That could go either way. And it's really Sugar Free's skill that he's able to win it and win the map for his team, building momentum for a huge upset.
Yeah, it was definitely Lenny time. That was like his biggest pop-up moment in a Worlds League too, given that he's a rookie so far. Yeah, so huge moment for him. I'm switching things up a little bit here because we do have a great Ashe play from Merit, but he got a little help as well. Ashe, it's a partnership. There are two characters involved, so Merit here racks up a couple of kills. But this ball placement, kind of lucky, but right on the edge, Bob has the high ground and not only clears the high ground, but is also shooting downwards onto the Winston. Bob has the high ground.
Oh my God.
This is the best Bob positioning ever.
Is this luck?
I mean, I think he was going for the uppercut on OG, but I mean, Bob on the high ground.
It's a little bit of luck landing right on the edge.
A little bit of luck, a little bit of skill.
That's perfect.
All right, Jaws, how about you?
Flex support play makes my day. I have Chorong on final point, Junker Town.
Oh, this was sick.
This was
the
nasty.
triple heady on the backline of Toronto Defiant. This is just disgusting stuff. I mentioned it when we were casting this game, when me and Scott were in it, but the dude came in on Toronto Defiant last year and was mainly playing Lucio, and I'm like, dude, this guy can play everything. Like, this Kiriko play is crazy. Like, top-tier Kiriko play, you are just such a threat in the backline. You force people to look at you, and then if you need to, you can just swift step away. But it feels like Strong's like, no, I don't care. Like, I'm just going to sit here.
I feel like we're in a bit of a Kiriko renaissance as well with this hero. I mean, during the playoffs, it came out, it was so strong, but you just heal. Like, really, that was the right style. Just heal, charge your ultimate. It's so broken. And it just felt like, okay, we're like abusing this hero. But now it's really about individual skill and playmaking, pushing these main sports who are mechanically talented. They actually get elevated. They get the chance to pop off and carry.
It's an evolution of the character, which we will see, and we'll probably continue to see that. But like, this aggressive playstyle is just so important to get the most value. And like, it's hard to deal with 2 DPS diving. Like a third, that's also a support. Like, it's so stupid. It's crazy.
I mean, we had some great moments, and also, you know, on the desk we make a lot of predictions, right? And today my preds didn't go well, but hey, we're not the only ones making predictions. Each weekend our crew is playing Overwatch League pick'ems, and the winner of each week gets to take home this. Show it to everybody.
I will.
The sweet belt.
Oh,
look at that.
Good. That's
and
good.
as far as I know, this is like handmade as well.
It looks great.
It's sick.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a bit small. I couldn't wear it.
So
but
I'm going to announce the winner for our production team. The winner of week 2 is none other than Neil from our Tail Paint team. Neil,
let's go,
congratulations.
Neil.
Enjoy your week with the belt.
Neil.
You earned it. Great job. Let me take it next time too. Can I join in? Like, I kind of want it.
We'll have to compete next week. Yeah. Congrats, Neil.
All right. Before we go, let's take a look at our next week's schedule, because I'm sure we have a lot of great matches. Vegas Eternal versus London Spitfire. Why are you like Vegas Eternal versus London Spitfire, and then Valiant versus Florida Mayhem. That one, the last one, Houston Outlaws versus Atlanta Reign. It's going to be a clash of style, definitely, right? Outlaws probably going to run the Winston dive. Is that going to work against Atlanta Reign? Are you going to pred Houston Outlaws? You are going to, right, Jake?
Oh, Atlanta looks so good. I don't think he can commit. I don't think Jake, I don't think he can commit.
It's close.
Atlanta looks too good.
It's heart versus mind. I don't know, but honestly, maybe I'll make it work. I'll actually look at the maps before I pray.
And of course, next week's schedule for APAC as well. There's some great matches. Seoul Dynasty versus Spark, and then we got 2 Fuel, 2 Infernal, and then Charge at the very end. For those late night owls, yeah, you guys could stay up and watch all the games and then tweet at us. Tell us the results.
Dallas, Shanghai. What a match, guys.
Let's go, Shanghai!
Charge versus Infernal, though. Infernal's the last team potentially standing up to Charge in the APAC region. I think like there's major implications on that match. But we'll see exactly.
Danny just throwing stuff around.
My in-ear mic pack fell, but it's okay. Hey, before we go, we wanted to say a huge congratulations to Alyssa, our hair and makeup artist. She keeps us looking very good every day, but today is all about celebrating her. So Will and Alyssa, congratulations on getting married. I'm happy for you guys.
Yay! Congrats, Alyssa.
Alyssa, such a wonderful person to work with.
There's one more thing we gotta celebrate, Danny.
What?
There's one more thing. Tomorrow, it's your birthday.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I need to get my mic.
Danny, I do want to say though, this cake isn't actually for you. There's someone really important in esports whose birthday it is. It's actually Pucket's birthday.
Oh,
so
Pucket's birthday.
This is for Puckett. Yeah, happy birthday, Puckett. We appreciate you. We got a happy birthday, so thank you. We appreciate it.
Happy birthday, Puckett.
Happy birthday. The GOAT.
All right.
The legend.
I mean, the
Legend.
for you as well. Why are you guys here?
Happy birthday, Danny.
All right.
It's like a retirement for ex-Owl players with Scott, Jake, and Reinforced, but with you guys with those hats, it looks like a little kid's birthday party. There's like the little jungle gym and the ball pit for y'all to play in. Is Griffin going to this party, Midge? This looks like a Griffin's group.
I don't trust him around any of these people. Out there. You know, I want to shield him from this degeneracy for as long as possible, Matthew.
Yeah, well, make sure to get you some gift cards for your mobile gaming, Danny.
Yeah, can you please help me out with my gacha fund?
Danny.
It doesn't matter.
Mitch, you understand, right, Mitch?
Yeah. I do, to be fair, but you take it another level to me, my friend. I'll send you some Stellar Jade on Honkai later on, mate. Yeah, happy birthday. Love working with you. You guys all looking great. We'll see
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Mitch and Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for this wonderful cake.
All right. We got one more.
We got one more.
That's not all. That's not all.
Really?
We got one more surprise for you, Danny.
Really?
Yeah, we do actually. Yeah, it's a big one for you.
What is it?
So.
Thank you so much, you beautiful humans, and what a way to spend my birthday. I'm over here at the Call of Duty League, but don't think I forgot about you, Overwatch fans. Much love to everyone who's been saying well wishes online, but I'm not the only one celebrating the great day of May 7th. Another birthday is in your building today. That's right. The best dressed, most handsome host of all time is sitting right next to you, the birthday boy, Danny Lim.
You are my god, Puckett. I will praise you until I die. Thank you so much. My birthday is actually tomorrow. It's the 8th, but I mean, it's close enough. You know what? Now from now on, it's gonna be 7th. I just want to have the same birthday as Puckett. But, you guys are going all out today. Okay. All right. Enough of me. Okay. Puckett again. Congratulations. Not congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. Happy birthday.
Congratulations makes sense.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Congratulations, Alyssa and Will. Thank you, Mitch and Matt, for the birthday wish, and all of you guys for the cake as well. That is it for today, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know today was hectic, but hope you guys had fun, and we will see you guys all next week on Friday. Peace out.
Woo! Happy birthday, Danny!
Happy birthday!
Thanks, guys.